What if I told you there are certain industries that could see an elimination of income tax entirely? That's exactly what lawmakers are discussing because President Donald Trump is pushing to eliminate taxes on tips. Just today, Donald Trump was in Las Vegas, Nevada, and reiterated his pledge to eliminate taxes on tips. But according to experts, it would not be all industries. It would be certain industries to start. Now, I want to break this down because this is the beginning. This is not the entire plan. According to experts, they are saying multiple sources and leaks have come out saying that the Trump administration wants to eliminate income taxes entirely. And in just a moment, I'm going to go over this great article I was reading just today that is saying how your income, how your salary could change if this does occur. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So millions of people could benefit from this change. If we see Donald Trump get his wish and eliminate taxes on tips, that would be huge. It says right here, the hospitality industry, a dominant industry in Las Vegas, eliminating tips on taxes would be part of a broader tax package. Interesting. Now, what would this broader tax package be? Well, they're discussing adding this into the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Now, that alone is already going to decrease the amount of taxes you're paying into the system. But, and I bring this up because we are seeing some major changes right now. We are seeing illegal immigrants are being sent back to their home countries. That's a big change that's happening right now. We are seeing the Department of Government Efficiency alongside of the Trump administration. They are looking at ways to save money. Donald Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord, pulled out, doesn't want to be part of the World Health Organization to save potentially $500 million a year. But again, now he's talking about maybe going back into it, but doesn't want to pay that kind of money. We're also looking at different ways to eliminate waste and fraud. One of the things that the Trump administration has done is they're asking every single federal employee to go back into the office. If they don't, there's going to be layoffs. That right there is going to save the federal government and the American taxpayers billions and billions of dollars every single year. Now, I want to show you this. I want to read a little bit of this article first and then explain why this is just the beginning. Look at this. It says, President Donald Trump reiterates his pledge to eliminate taxes on income from tips as part of a freewheeling rally in Las Vegas where the hospitality and service industry is dominant. We're going to get that to you, Trump said. So, he says right here, so if you're a restaurant worker, server, a valet, a bellhop, a bartender, one of my caddies, or any other worker that relies on tipped income, your tips will be 100% yours. Okay. Now, tips are one thing. Okay? So getting rid of taxes on tips is one thing. But this is where experts say we can't just get rid of taxes on tips, because if those workers still receive some type of salary or hourly wage, well, that is part of their income. Yeah, great. But what if we just took the entire thing and said anybody in these industries, you don't have to pay any taxes? That, according to reports, is where we're headed. Because the Trump administration wants to eliminate taxes entirely. Just look at this article right here. It says Trump wants to eliminate income taxes. 5 ways this could impact your salary in 2025. Now, I thought this was a very good article. Had a lot of stuff to say, so I want to read this to you. Look at this right here. It says here are 5 ways Trump's plan to eliminate income taxes could impact your salary in 2025. It says increase in take-home pay. That's the biggest one. If you don't have to pay any income tax, then we're going to be able to take home more money. This also means additional inflation, unless there's ways we are actually paying a tax or a levy or something, right? And that could be done in tolls, using toll roads. It could be done in tariffs, which is already being considered, right? Levies, fees, fines, right? All these things. So essentially what we're hearing is if we eliminate the income tax entirely, then we will pretty much be nickel and dimed every step of the way. You want to drive on this road? Well, it's going to cost you a little bit of money. There's going to be a toll. Okay. You want to park your car in this parking spot? Well, there's going to be a fee. You got to pay the parking fee. Okay. Oh, you got a ticket. Well, that ticket's cost is going to increase because the people that receive tickets, right, for whatever it may be, speeding, just a moving violation, right, some type of infraction, right, those people will be charged a higher fee. So instead of $100 and some no seatbelt fee, potentially $200 to $300 for not wearing your seatbelt, right? Those are what they're discussing at this time. Let's look at this though. It says this increase in disposable income would have the effect of stimulating the economy, but at the expense of likely increasing real inflation. It says thus, it is likely that while people would benefit for a short time, soon their wages would be worth less. So they would not get a long-term benefit in general. And that is true. But keep in mind, what has the Trump administration already been discussing? They were talking about tariffs from day one. We're going to place a tariff on China. That was it. And then all of a sudden, weeks ago, we get the news that Donald Trump and the Trump administration is planning on imposing a tariff on our neighbors, on Canada and Mexico, a 25% tariff. That means fuel costs are going to increase. You want to make avocado toast? Sorry, it's going to cost you a little bit more money. You want car parts? Well, it's going to cost a little bit more money. Everything, lumber, costs more money, which housing is going to cost more money, which means your rent is going to cost more money. Chances are your insurance is going to cost more money. So as these prices continue to tick up, the Trump administration is looking at ways to actually bring costs down or give you a bigger boost on your income. What they don't want to do is mandate a $15 per hour minimum wage. But let's keep looking at this. How else could this impact your salary? It says enhanced benefit packages right here. Some companies could choose to restructure salary offers or renegotiate existing compensation packages. It says, I believe that employees would take advantage of this to enhance benefit packages to reward valuable employees, improve retention, and make hiring incentives more available and attractive. One of the other things that we've already seen, because it's already been discussed by multiple industries, is maybe we just go towards an all-out tip income. Because that way, 100% of the compensation that employee receives, again, tips, is not taxable. Again, there's ways businesses are going to figure out how to get the most out of their employees, but at the same time, employees are going to figure out how can they make the most money and pay the least amount in tips. We're going to see it. Look at this one. A race to the bottom. Stranger said, eliminating federal income taxes would also remove incentives for businesses to hire in low-income neighborhoods or within the United States. It says, so we likely would see a faster shift to companies hiring more lower-priced workers abroad where possible. But we could potentially see them hire more the higher-priced workers here in the United States. It says the lack of business tax deductions and incentives would be a race to the bottom for the cheapest workers worldwide. This would cause it to be tougher for people to get hired or get raises when others will work for cheaper. Guess what? The Trump administration is already working on tax deductions for businesses. This is part of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. But the reason I bring this to your attention now is simple. They're fighting for this. They are pushing full steam ahead. Chances are in the next 1 to 2 months, we're going to have a very good indication of what it's going to look like, what the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2025 is going to look like. And if Democrats don't want to get on board, don't want to vote with the Republican Party and the Trump administration, well, there's always the reconciliation package, which would actually give Republicans the ability to pass a bill without any Democratic votes. So again, it's something that they're kind of mulling over. And the last one, okay? I want to read you this one. More negotiating opportunities. So some employers could shift the tax savings from the elimination of income taxes into other forms of compensation, such as bonuses or benefits instead of raising salaries. Think about that, right? You give somebody a bonus. You give somebody a benefit like a cell phone, right? A company cell phone, company credit card, right? You give them maybe hotel points, right? There's so many options here. It says employers would have maximum flexibility and creativity in the entire compensation arena. Job seekers could benefit from creative compensation plans and more freedom to negotiate an attractive job offer on both sides. If you look around the news, I talked about this just this past week, where we are potentially going to see Costco employees walk off the job here very soon. 18,000 Costco employees could walk off the job because they want better benefits, they want better pay. Okay, that's what they want. The same thing goes for JP Morgan Chase. I talked about that this morning, where JP Morgan is concerned that their employees are discussing unionizing. And if they do that, we could see people walk off the job and wait until this company that just made $50+ billion last year and only gave their employees a 2% raise. We could see them have to come out and dish out more money. So right now, all we're hearing, there's going to be changes. I want to read you one last thing. The ripple effects. It says President Trump isn't the only politician pushing for tax cuts. According to a recent Associated Press report, more states are considering tax cuts this year on everything from income, sales, and property taxes. It says this director of state fiscal studies at the National Association of State Budget Officers told the AP that states are working with tighter budgets, but legislators and governors are still looking to offer tax relief. Keep in mind that states are working with tighter budgets, but at the same time, what do states really need? What do they need? Right? We knew California needed better conditions for like their forest, right? Clean up the brush, make sure there's water so that if a fire were to happen, it could be put out very quickly. They didn't do it. They thought there was other things that took a higher priority. Well, now they're paying for it. But what do other states need? Better roads, right? More bridges, a new bridge, right? What do they need? Schools? Yeah. I want to read you one last thing right here. It says tax cuts work well when state governors are flush with cash, such as during the post-COVID pandemic period, when many states received federal government aid. However, eliminating federal income taxes coupled with cuts in state taxes could mean less money for essential government services like public schools and health services. But remember when I told you that the Trump administration, alongside of the Department of Government Efficiency, is looking at ways to save money, right? Elon Musk posted on X just the other day, I did a video on this, that he is considering, and this is where he posted saying that the penny, which cost the U.S. government like $179 million last year, it costs 3 times the amount to produce as it does its worth. It's worth 1 cent, but it costs 3 cents to produce because the materials used in it. That's the problem. So right now that this is saying, well, coupled with cuts in state taxes could mean less money for essential government services like public schools and health services. Essentially, if we looked at all the public school services, okay, the public school system, there's probably things that the public school system is spending money on that they don't need. But what they need is more teachers. Teachers have a better pay, so they want to come into school and not take a bunch of days off, right? Teachers should want to work, which means we should pay them more. But at the same time, how can we pay somebody more when we're spending all of our money on something else that nobody even sees? So we're going to see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you right now is these discussions are starting. And the Trump administration is adamant that yes, they want to eliminate taxes on tips. But experts say that's just the beginning because according to reports and leaks from multiple lawmakers' aides, they are saying that this is just the start. Because the big picture is let's eliminate income taxes entirely. And then we will pull money and earn revenue elsewhere. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.